quiet house. Between bookshelves and rows of paintings lives an artist.
Layers of Fear is a psychological horror video game developed and published by Bloober Team. The game was originally released back in 2016 for the PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, and has since made its way over to the Nintendo Switch. With just a very few titles on the hybrid console offering players a horror-driven experience, does Layers of Fear have the scares to secure its spot as one of the scariest? Because of the content of this game, the format for this review is going to be changed up a little bit.
What do we do when we fail? We start over.
The game opens with the unnamed protagonist just returning home from a court hearing. Shortly after, he goes to his workshop to finally finish his magnum opus, and from there things start to spiral into a horrifying and psychedelic mess. I enjoyed that Layers was not just a haunted house simulator, but it actually had a story, and a pretty investing one at that, especially considering the game's length, which is only about 4 or 5 hours. Just who was this man? Why was he limping? Where was his family? These questions indeed had me pushing through these psychological scares for the sake of my curiosity of the world and the narrative it was building up. Layers of Fear plays a lot like 2013's game Gone Home. As the unnamed protagonist, you'll explore the many rooms of the house and search for clues as to what's happening. Interaction is a little bit more intuitive this time around, forcing the player to grab objects by holding down the R button and then move them by pressing the right thumbstick while that's being held. This works particularly well with the opening of doors, as the player can't just press a button and have that door open, but rather has to physically open the door at their own pace to reveal the possible horrors waiting for them on the other side. Littered throughout the campaign are many letters, notes, and newspaper clippings to read. However, this tired walking sim mechanic is actually done really well here, as unlike Gone Home, nothing you read is so long that it takes you out of the moment. The notes and clippings found, for example, were only a few sentences long, and the longer letters were only a paragraph or two. Not to say I didn't enjoy those moments in Gone Home, but the brevity here prevents the player from hiding from the scares for too long, and thus adds the game's excellent pacing. Unfortunately, I did run into a few bugs while playing. One area towards the end of the game that introduces some verticality had me soft-locking twice after falling through surfaces. Another bug had removed a door and upon my walking into the room had me stuck in a pitch-black unloaded area. Both of the above mentioned were resolved by simply resetting the game. Hats off to the developers because this house was an absolute treat to inhabit. Heavily steeped with mood and detail that both did a fantastic job in revealing some of the background to the events currently unfolding. The many hallways and rooms are littered with things to look at as well as interact with, and that really gives off the impression that a ton of work went into selling this location. Outside of a stunted V-Sync issue that was sadly present in both handheld and docked mode, the game looks great for the most part, with some really standout lighting effects. While not to the same degree as, say, What Remains of Edith Finch, this labyrinth of architecture absolutely felt lived in, and that really helped to keep me suspended in the disbelief. The sound design is mostly great too, and lends to the authentic feeling of losing one's mind. Whether it be the old floorboards squeaking underneath you as you walk, the howling gust of wind just outside, or the crackling booms of thunder, the environmental work here is superb. The game's few piano tracks are excellent as well, but outside of maybe 20 minutes total, the game doesn't really have a soundtrack. So when this game first came out, it was met with mixed reviews, and that holds true today, and that's just kind of inherent with the type of game it is. If you are someone who enjoys horror movies, or say the experience of going to a haunted house, you're likely to have a great time with Layers of Fear, as outside of just a few jump scares, it really takes its time and it earns its more unsettling moments. Sadly, the replayability is as about as useful as buying a lifetime pass to the same haunted house. Eventually, you're going to expect what's coming. I personally had a great time with the title and would recommend it to fans of the Fright Fest genre who might have missed out on the chance to play PT. Layers of Fear is available on the Nintendo eShop for $19.99 and is going to take up just over 3 GB on your hard drive.
That's alright. Madness, much like art, is the eye of the beholder.
as always, thanks so much for watching the video, and if you'd like to see more like it, go ahead and click that subscribe button.